TikTok as well, and I've been flagged like 3 times since I've been on TikTok.
For the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who is this I am Will? Is he here?
No, he's from you ever heard of the band Black Eyed Peas?
Oh, that Will.
Will I Am, yes. You know what? Sit here with me for a second. Let me read to you because I'm live on Rumble as well. But I'm going to read it to you, and then you just jump in and give me your opinion. How about that? I'm going to read to you where we are, okay?
You're the boss.
All right, check this out. Will I Am says a man being ultra feminine is a superpower that he learned from his mom. And let me explain and let me continue to what he said. On a podcast, he said that he doesn't view being feminine as a bad thing because he was so close with his mother, he gained her mannerisms, making him ultra feminine. Without a father figure, he had to figure out his own definition of what manhood was. He continued to say, coming of age, I didn't have a man in my life or a father figure in my life to guide me through that. My mom did that, which properly made me an ultra feminine man, which I have no shame of being super feminine, says Will I Am. I remember back in the 90s, we didn't have support for the LGBT community like we do now, he recalled. So growing up in the 90s, people were like, are you? A lot of people would question if I was because I was feminine. I'm still feminine, noted Will I Am. I sit where I sit and I act like I act. My mannerisms are my mom. He continued, I'm strong with my femininity. I think it's a superpower. When you know who you are, when you love who you are, how you vibe, that's what it's about. I like girls, the musician added. I was never attracted to men. I'm attracted to females, but I'm feminine. What are your thoughts, bro?
Well, clearly this is coming from some trauma. For thousands of years, men have been macho, and in the last 40 years, they tried this progressive experiment, and really what happened is the purchasing power increased and everyone got an iPhone. Depression, anxiety skyrocketed because men became more feminine, we're away from the church, we're away from God's law. I mean, everything that they're promoting is kind of pushing the youth off the bridge. I mean, they're themselves, and it's like, okay, we're doing it the progressive way, and clearly everyone's depressed and anxious. I'm pretty sure we're going the wrong direction here.
Yeah, and it's funny in my community, in the Black community, and I was arguing with some people online earlier. That's why I decided, hey, I can't sleep. Let me go to bed. Let me go in online and talk about it. I noticed that in our community, we are the most accepting people in the world. And let me explain. If you say anything, and I mean anything that a Black woman does not like, the first thing she does is call you sassy, say something about you have a little piece. So I'm thinking, go ahead.
Actually, Tommy, there, not to interrupt you, but there's a test that shows the biggest trauma a woman can go through is finding out her man is. She'd rather him cheat 1,000 times than find out he's. So, like deep down in their in females' psychology, their biggest trauma that could happen to them, even worse than losing him in a car crash, is their man turning out to be, which has to be the most thing ever.
Right. So that is something that it is they can have it, and it's. I still ask the question: why is it okay in the United States that Black women are openly? They are the only crew that can get to openly call people the F word. They call you that all the time, and nothing happens. They don't lose their job. They don't lose sponsorships. Nothing happens. Maybe you have an opinion on that. Why is it that it's acceptable that they're openly homophobic?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at minority classes, they do get away with some things compared to, let's say, like the average white guy. But it seems like the average American's very afraid of an emotional Black woman. They'll do anything to avoid the drama, and they appease them at the workplace and everywhere. If they let's say grew up in a fatherless home and they're acting up and they're waving their finger and going full meme in the classroom or at work. Nobody wants to deal with that, so they just let it happen, which is kind of crazy to me because I think Black women are the best women in America because these women are actually in the church. I mean, I'm not saying they're acting correct, but I'm saying there's hope. The white women are never in church. They're total.
And you can get away with saying that because there's two groups that you can get away with saying. Now, the ultimate group that you can get away with going at is the heterosexual Christian white male. You can
Yeah.
go at him all day and never get canceled, which is a weird thing. And the only people that white women pretty much get to go at is that
Well,
white man.
honestly, I don't even care anymore. At first, it bothered me, but I sometimes feel like Whitey deserves it because he's so soft-spoken when it comes to defending his opinion. I get on.
Say it again.
He's a soft-spoken little, and I'm thinking to myself, I find myself always teaming up with conservative black men online because the whites they just so soft-spoken that it makes it look like they don't have a passion for defending anything or their church or anything. I'm like, damn, these guys gave up. They're letting their wives get.
Well, you know what it is, though? It's the fear. That fear is real strong with them. It's just like with me when they said, I think they've been circulating the videos about some stuff that I said about a certain group. We know that group, but I'm
Uh-oh.
just saying,
I
you
don't know what
apparently
you're talking about, Tommy.
you know this group, but you can't say it because if you say it, even if it's a fact, if people say that it's the blacks run the NBA, nobody would even balk at it, even though blacks don't own anything. It's just that the majority of people in the NBA. But if you said who runs Hollywood, oh, well, then you got a problem there, sir, and you are anti-Semitic. And so people are afraid to do that. I've watched people who have no problem calling out the white man and calling out the racist white man, but then you say something about this one group, they will get real silent, i.e., Jamie Foxx.
I
I.e.,
mean,
go ahead.
that's the only topic that's gotten influencers banned from PayPal and payment processing services. So that topic is definitely not for your Twitter, Tommy.
I know. And so when you discuss these things, when you say about these women in this topic, and here's what really saddened me, because we know this one big thing in the black community, fatherless homes are a problem. Single mothers cannot raise boys to be men in general. Now, there was a person who came on my podcast, and his name was T.S. Madison. And of course, T.S. is for T.S. Madison said, everything I learned it because from my mom. I grew up wanting to be my mom. That's why I'm the woman I am today. Like a man dressing up. Even one of the things that he refers to himself as the big DICK That was his name. He would go around and peg men. Now, this Will I Am has said the same thing. He seems to have a hatred for men and a love for women. Have you noticed that a lot of single boys raised in single black homes have almost a hatred for themselves because their mothers will tell them things like, you remind me of your stupid daddy, your ugly daddy, your dumb daddy, all these things. And the one thing that a boy does not want to grow up to be is a disappointment to his mom when he's little. And who's the
Right.
greatest disappointment to the son of a single mother? Who's the
Yeah,
greatest
and
disappointment in his mother's life? It's his father.
the biggest problem with that is that they always need a hit of dopamine nurturing them so they get an oral fixation with something in their mouth to simulate when they felt comfortable as a baby on mama's titty, and that oral fixation turns into smoking, which levels up to becoming crack or the bottle, alcohol, whiskey, whatever. But they're always adding substance to change, to alter their state of mind. They can't do a whole day sober. And it really comes from they didn't have, the mom can show as much love as she wants. She could actually drown him in love. The father has to be there for the child to even absorb the love. The love doesn't absorb if it's only one parent. They're not sponges like that. They need both.
Damn, that's pretty damn deep. And just to hear this man, and maybe you can tell us a little bit how you feel about current state of society, that all of these men, we just had Wayne Brady come out and tell you what he said. And I don't know if you saw that, but I mean, it's crazy that these men are champing at the bit to come out to be the first guy that's more feminine than the next guy. And you know, when we were coming up, this was a 180. Where is this coming from? Is it dollars driven? or is it just this is who they are?
100% it starts as dollars driven. I mean, the biggest, fattest brand deals you can get, you can't say the F slur. You can't do anything masculine. And slurs, bad words in locker room talk is masculine. I don't care what anyone says. I grew up 5 years in hip hop nightclubs. I've never met a black man who got offended with slurs. Now, if you call one of us a slur to our face, we're gonna crack you in the teeth because you said it to our face. But it's not the word. It's not like we go online and freak out over a slur. This is face to face, right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, wait, when did everyone start getting so sensitive with slurs and these kind of bad language? Oh, their wives are making them, changing them. And who's really at the top of all these tech companies that give us these brand deals, multi-million-dollar deals, big contracts? It's feminine nerds who want you to be feminine so you can actually kick it with them. When they sign a rapper to a deal, they don't want a violent rapper next to them. They want a soft one so they can continue to make money and feel comfortable. And yeah, so at the top where all the money is, they're very feminine, weak. They let their wives get. They go to Island and trade. They do all this other stuff. This is very feminine behavior because feminine is chaotic, masculine is orderly. When you're masculine, remember the will of God is the father, but nature is matter, which comes from the word mother. Nature is chaotic. Everyone has to be more orderly as they grow up, and a woman is the happy her most proud, best mental health she's ever owned was her most feminine moment in her life. So usually when she gets married, and for men, the best mental health men ever have is their most masculine moments. When you look back, your most depressed weeks you remember, you were being a soft little. And when you really look back and go, wow, I was depressed in 2021, you look back and you were being feminine. That's what led you to be having all that bad stuff happen to you. But it's sad. It is dollars driven. But after you play with tutu dresses long enough, like Dwayne Johnson, eventually you start to enjoy it. You start to cope. You start to enjoy being feminine because it is easier. It's to be feminine is to go inside the car, kick your feet up in the passenger seat, and say, "Babe, where are you taking me to lunch?" And your girlfriend looks at you like, "What? What the fuck is he doing?" And she'll never give you any ass after that. You have to pretend you know where you're going for brunch or dinner with your girl. You have to be behind the wheel and drive her. You can never kick your feet up.
Why is it that they don't tell the truth about that? That these women are publicly saying how they like these effeminate men, but
Yeah,
those aren't the men who are getting slept with.
yeah
They're wanting to sleep with the
but
opposite man.
but Tommy, you can never blame a woman for being stupid because think about it. You are not targeted by mainstream media. 80% of the consumer market is women. They hold the credit cards. They hold three,
Oh, but I'm
four.
not blaming them. I'm asking why don't the guys see this? The guys should notice. I thought that was one of our
Because
superpowers.
men, because now that men are soft and weak from all this programming, they'd rather avoid an argument so they can get some ass at night than say, "Get the fuck out of my hotel." They don't want to do the masculine thing. These men just turn the other cheek and turn the other cheek, and it's actually sad.
Yeah, man. Hey, like I said, I can't wait to have you on the show and let a few more people jump up here and talk to us about this. But it's just this idea, and Sassy Girl, you can let whoever that you feel you want to bring up here that are coming up here. If you guys want to come and talk to me and my man Zherka, to
Yeah,
bring you
mix it
with.
up. Get some girls, get some guys. Let's make it
Yeah, I
good.
would love to have some girls come and talk about this, how they
Only
feel.
people who disagree.
I try that. It never happens. I try it all the time. I don't know if it happens with you.
Uh
They
huh.
always want to disagree in the comment section, and their disagreement is typically not an actual disagreement, it's a name call. But whenever you allow yourself to be open and talk to them one on one or as a group, they don't do it. They never show up.
Mm, well, let's see what we got.
So I will let them up if they have a disagreement. And guys, if you guys have a disagreement with us on this, please come up here because it seems like as a man, you would recognize that what these girls are pushing you to become is the same thing that they make fun of. If they're making fun of it, why would you think they want you to actually be it?
Yeah. Well, it's sad because any man who's met the wife, they acted the exact same way as when the wife, when the woman met him. But when she tells you to wear salmon, wear pink, do this, do that, and you start wearing pink and you start doing whatever she wants, she starts to think, oh my God, if I can break this man and get him to wear pink, imagine what they'll do to us if there's ever a riot. This guy can't protect me. He lost to a woman, right? And remember, women are just weak. They're just weak. So it's like saying no to them shouldn't be that hard.
Listen, I can tell that people from personal experience. The girl who I gave the most to and did the nicest stuff to,
Mhm.
she kept cheating on me with a guy who told her to her face, "You a hoe, and I would never date you seriously."
Yeah, exactly.
And she would not stop messing with that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you go if you look at if we want to get it really dark. I didn't know you JQ, so I don't. I guess you go to any topic. I'm not going to hurt your channel though, but or your Twitter. But check it out. Go look at the studies of the women who stay with men who beat them up. It's terrifying how they can just hang around a monster.
Yep.
And that's why I think they obsess over security so much that they're willing to have like a black eye, though not a black guy. Well, a black eye from a black guy. They're so, so I'm like, wow. So they're willing to actually get hit just so long as they know that their man is strong enough to defend them.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let a few people jump up here. You guys want to talk, especially some of you women who may disagree with us. Come on up here and join the panel. The hurdled the hurdled.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You got the
What's
floor.
up? What's up? All right. Zherka, bro, I'm so happy to talk to you, man. I don't exactly disagree with you, and I'm not a girl, but give me a second, dude, because I'm super curious to ask you a question. Um, a lot of these guys, like Destiny and like these guys, like they act as if like you're like some like caveman or something that's gonna come in there and just like scream over them, and they like kind of like shun you off because of that. But I think it's because they don't want to like debate you because in my opinion, like you're like very deep, dude. Like you're very knowledgeable in a lot of things. And like, what do you think about that? Like when you hear guys like Destiny say it like that, because it pisses me off. It's like annoying
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. First of all, I appreciate the question, man, and thank you for the support. But 100%, if you look at my history with Destiny or any of these guys, they never had a problem when I was cavemanning. They only started hating me when Raj Patel would say, Zherka, you're not allowed to meme. You have to do the serious politics, just debate. And when I get serious, I sound very like a professor. And I smoked him in our first debate. And so
You
after
did.
it's on my YouTube channel, my Destiny Zherka debate. It's called Destiny versus Zherka. But I
Go ahead and
smoked.
shout that out so they can go find it.
Well, it's just John Zerk on YouTube, but I smoked him, and so when I always say you don't want me to start, toning it down because that's when I'll whoop. Because I'll only ever enter a debate that I know I'm gonna win. I've never actually gone into topics like mathematics or algebra, right? And
Yeah.
these guys are very cocky, so they'll do topics they're not that knowledgeable in. But yeah, if you look at anyone who's ever hated me, even Dawson, like after I whooped him in the debate, that's when he started really hating me. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you guys got to remember what happens when there's a COVID lockdown and I'm stuck at home with a bunch of Adderall. I read 100 books. I read 100, and I have this thing where I hate to be humiliated. So of course I'm actually well written, well read on these topics. But yeah, it's like it's very simple. If you want to be correct in the debate, just be just a little racist, and usually you're correct.
I
No, it's
told
actually
I
gonna be
told
my
guys
my
that
next.
same thing. If you hold on a second, I told guys that exact same thing. I said, one, I try not to get into discussions where I don't know. So if I don't know, what I will end up being is a student in that discussion. But there are way too many people that just feel like if they're emotionally triggered by something, that they should just dive into it head first. And what you just did was dive into the shallow end of the pool.
Yeah, and what you got to remember is it's horrible business. If you open your mouth for every topic on a podcast, you're actually weakening how much money you're making. If you only open your mouth with topics you know, now you have a strong cult following that knows you're giving them value with the
True.
comedy and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, and I had another question for you too. Like when you were on that podcast with Bradley, and remember that moment where he was just like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
It was like, what the? What the hell was that, dude? Like you were like
I
you
was
handled it
so
like so well. Like
well. I
what were your thoughts
handled
on
it
that?
well because it literally reminded me of both of my brothers, how they freak out on me. And what nobody realizes is I was pressing him. I said to him, remember the guy's on steroids, so you know how you can emotionally fluctuate fast. I said to him, I'm going to humiliate you. And I kept
Yeah.
pressing him and I kept pressing him and I wouldn't let him dodge the question. He felt very cornered and he's like, yo, this is my studio. The first thing I thought, this is how much of a leech I am. The first thing I thought of was, holy, this is not live. So he can literally delete this VOD and I'll miss out on all these views. So I'm like, I got to win Bradley over within 10 seconds, bro. But my ego wouldn't let me because then I kept saying to him, no, bite the bullet, own the question, ask your satellite question and own it. And he said, no, I got it from chat. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why was I so aggressive? You know, like everyone says he was aggressive to me, but like, why did he respond like that? I don't know. I felt like I was being a horrible guest.
Well, guys, I'm trying to make sure that we rotate enough people around here. So when you guys put your hand up, when you come up here and request, make sure you put your hand up. And if you agree or disagree, we were talking about Will I Am. Will I Am has come out and said that it is a superpower of his for him to be an effeminate man.
In other words,
And yes, like it's one of these things that they're using words, not saying it, but they're coming real close. Because I didn't even know what a pan was. I thought it was a person that had like skillets or something. And I found out that a pan it's about the same. Because I mean, the pan basically is saying they'll have sex with anything, right?
yeah, true.
So that being said, these words that they're using, all these men are having to get in touch with their effeminate side. And I don't understand what the reason why we say society needs that. Apex, you have the mic. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah. So I kind of realized something as an educator. Like, you gotta have man's greatest ability. Like what were we blessed with on this planet? And the great gift that we were
I gotta
blessed
agree.
with is the ability. The great gift that we were blessed with this planet is problem solving, thinking. And what is the nature? What is the code or what's the language of reality? Math. And so as you look, what I noticed as an educator, as the math score started to decrease, as people got dumber when it came to mathematics and just reading comprehension, we started to notice a rise in this feminine man. Because the basic of man is logic. In order to understand logic, you must be good at math. You can't quantify things, you can't make good choices. So what happens is I believe men or boys on the feminine nature of emotion. They start making emotional choices because it's too hard to think. And that's what I'm starting to realize in this current age we live in is we don't have thinkers anymore. And one of the things I kind of identified because I work as a handyman on the side is that like a lot of these guys, like women, they're not even impressed. Like I'm a pretty in shape dude, but what they're most get like what they get most turned on about is my ability to do math in my head, just to pull out a tape measure, figure things out, and they find it to be the sexiest thing like in the world. And so I started to like realize, hold up, most of these guys, it's not a matter of like them being buff. Because there's a
Okay,
lot of
now you're speaking retarded.
Can I
sir, I did not,
interject?
sir,
Can I interject really
sir,
quick from a woman's
You
perspective?
saying 2 plus 2 is getting her wet?
Because it's
please,
all
lady, can
about
you
it's
keep on?
also about emotional intelligence from the feminine perspective, from women as well. So you have the logic from men, but you also have a lack of emotional intelligence.
Throughout most of history, they all agreed a woman can never level up from a child's mindset.
Unless they're under some guidance of some pimping.
I'm saying like these philosophers for thousands of years, they didn't really have anything to benefit saying that. It's not like there's no red pill audience paying him to say that. It's that women just don't invest their money. They don't plan ahead. They're very, very, very stupid compared to the average man. Like the smartest woman
No,
in I'm serious. I'm not joking. The smartest woman in your class is like not even an average male's IQ.
I would disagree. I would say the women actually have more intelligence than your average guy. I would, if you were to
All
break
right,
down
but
guys,
there's actually a study that left women stranded on an island. All sorts of women, doctors, and from all sorts of backgrounds. Yeah, dude, they literally die in a weekend.
Okay, can you prove that study? Can you show it to me?
Yeah, the
There's
average woman doesn't have
I can
survival
send it to you,
skills,
but that
but
would be
that is
boring.
no.
No,
That's
no,
not.
but that's the
That's
But
not
point.
a.
the
That's
average,
That's
the
not a
point. The
measurement of an
point. No,
intelligent
listen.
quotient, though.
The point is, both groups of people had no survival skills. The men just figured it out.
But that's
the
modern
average man doesn't
society,
have
though.
survival
Modern
skills of
most
today's
people in
society.
society today don't have survival skills. That's men and
No,
women.
but that's the point. They picked random people from today's day and age, and the men kind of figured it out, and the women starved to death. And there was smart people on both camps.
The women starved to death. Was this live on television or something?
Yeah, well, that's the simulation, idiot.
Sir, why you have to call me an idiot? That's not nice.
Do you think they put starving people on TV? Like, come on.
Well, I'm saying, sir, you said they starved to death. I'm just saying that's what your words were. I'm listening
All
to what you're
right,
telling me.
look. Here's the truth. You don't want to bite the bullet. You don't want to just say that deep down you know I'm correct. You're just afraid to say it in an open space.
No, I'll give you if you're correct, sir.
So you're saying women are retarded too. We're on the same page.
Yeah, but I'm thinking guys in this current age, guys are more retarded than women.
Right, but why is your instinct to immediately go to guys? We're talking about women.
Because we are in a system where men pretty much are the dominant variable.
Okay,
Whether
so I'll ask you. Well, let me ask you this: we're talking
yeah,
about men
no,
being the dominant variable. You're talking about men being the dominant variable. So then,
yeah,
who do you believe is pushing this idea of all these men trying to quote unquote get in touch with their feminine side, or the Dylan Mako
Gee,
phase, the Dylan
Tommy,
Mulvaney's,
Tommy,
where
I
all
thought
these men
wait,
Tommy, I
one
thought
second, I'm trying to
out
hear.
being women?
Tommy,
Because let me
stop.
explain something.
Tommy,
Go
you
ahead.
said we're not gonna do the who.
I'm trying to hear, sir.
Well, 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 we know who. I just wanted to see where he was going to go with it because he's saying men. So I wanted to see who he was going to say is behind all of this because I want you to understand, sir. If all these people were trying to be trans who never got a chance to be trans, here's the question: why is it more men want to be women than women want to be men?
Why do you want? Because it's easier to be a woman.
And why is it easier being a woman?
Because men make it easier for them, or at least we're supposed to in society.
So men make it easier for men who act like women?
Well, technically, like if the way I look at it, we have built a society, and Kevin Samuels talked about this. We built a civilization that is so well run that men can afford to be gay, essentially. They can afford to be useless men.
Who is this guy? This guy's growing on me.
Good
I'm
times
about to say I
create
like
men.
him. He said men can afford to. We got a remainder. You know, we got so much.
Yeah,
We got a storehouse full of masculinity. So
yeah. But now the
To
the
me,
the
there's
the, the,
nothing. There's
the
nothing.
amusement park of
To me,
America is.
there's
Oh, I was gonna say,
nothing. There's nothing funnier than a black man because black men are so masculine. It doesn't suit you guys to be in a tutu dress.
I'm not.
okay.
Hey, I don't know if y'all remember when I went on. What was his name? Dave Rubin's show,
Yeah.
and they told me after I got off his show, they were like, "I'm surprised to see you on a gay man show." And when the video went viral, I was just making fun. I was like, and I got up and started wiping my hands off and stuff like that. But it was a joke because I was like, I already knew. But here's one thing that I say, and it got people mad. I said, I'm not surprised when a white man. I kind of suspected he already was doing something like that anyway. I don't mean any knock on white men, but I would if Elon Musk came out tomorrow and said he had sex with a man, I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
Elon.
I have a theory though. I believe 99% of men worldwide are gay because 99% of men would suck it for $1,000,000.
I don't think that means they're gay. I think that means they destined
Yeah, they
to.
might be broke. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Would you do it, Tommy, for $1,000,000?
Look here, man. You can't be asking me these questions on my show. This is not about me. No,
Yo, what the fuck?
this is not about me. Why
These
are you
guys are
trying to
fed.
personalize the show, man? Why are
This,
you doing this?
I just want to know, Tommy, for $1,000,000, would you ever do it?
But I wouldn't have to because I got a million.
Damn, yo, everyone.
I'm just saying I wouldn't have to. That would never be something I'd think. I would immediately say no because I already got it. But you'd have to talk to guys who don't. Remember, there are people who drink sweat and drink when they get thirsty enough. There are people who've eaten other human beings. We do know
$1
being
million
accountable is
doesn't
not
go very far
correct,
in
but
today's economy either.
Yeah, no,
That's
but
cap.
I know people that
Tommy,
have.
Shit.
you gotta delete that flag from your post. Why are you posting that flag? You're gonna get banned.
it's a thing
Tommy,
that I gotta ask you though,
you've
Apex.
been hanging with Ye,
Oh
bro.
yeah, go ahead, please.
But I gotta ask you, Apex. I mean, these men like Will I Am. These are men that don't need the money. You'd assume.
Hmm.
Wayne Brady. I don't know if he need the money, but it seems like they're just doing this for what? Can you tell me why these remainder men? Because that's what we'll start calling them. They're not really gay. They're just remainders.
Yeah. Well, my guess is, how can I put it? It's like the rise of feminism, all that particular push has can produce like a ecosystem that rewards you for being extra feminine. So you get like almost like an exponential boost in money, fame, and all that if you speak in feminine or degenerate talk in today's society. So the strong masculine man who's actually building bridges and doing real, he gets no love in today's society. So it's just a simple reward system. You get rewarded for being a boy.
What do you say about that, Zherka? That he's saying that basically it doesn't matter how much money these men got, they still want this social credit.
You mean for being feminine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's right. I mean, yeah. Well, once they, I mean, it starts off because of the money thing. Like, hey, did Dwayne Johnson put a tutu dress on for a $20 million contract with the Tooth Fairy movie, or did he do it for free? Like, obviously, he did it for money.
Well, here's the thing.
Same thing with Kevin Hart. And you remember Kevin
If
Hart
you're
first came out and said, and I'll let you go, the young lady who was talking. But you remember Kevin Hart said that he would not wear a dress, and 6 months later he was in a dress.
Yeah, and it was bad. It was like fairy.
Yeah, it was a useless skit. He was playing. Not only was he in a dress, but remember he was playing a little girl.
They put
Yeah,
that pressure on him.
yeah,
So it was a double
and
entendre.
it looked absolutely haunting when he came out.
Yes.
Yeah, because at first I was like, "You're scaring me enough as a black guy," but now in a dress,
Not at 5'2".
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
about to say you
okay,
can't be
what's the
scared about.
point?
No.
hold
I
on,
gotta say,
Tommy.
I'm afraid of midgets.
Huge
Everybody
shout
knows
out
that
to
I am
Dave
afraid of midgets.
Chappelle. Dave Chappelle never wore the dress.
That's right. I remember there was a few of them had asked me to do some stupid when I went out there, and I said no to each one of them.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I don't understand it. And I wasn't rich like that. I guess I live within my means. And
yeah.
I've always lived pretty much within my means. So I don't put myself in a position where I
Actually, Tommy,
have to do these things.
people are like, Zherka, how are you so outspoken about that stuff? I'm like, the best thing I ever did is say, I don't want no shit around me, because now all those contracts that are sent to me, hey, come do this in LA, they treat me very, very normal when I go there, because they go, oh, this is the straight guy, don't fuck with him, he gets angry. So it's like, if I wasn't vocal about it, I can't be around certain events without them offering, hey, do you want to do some fashion stuff with us? And now they know just to stay out of my way.
Bonjour tous, how are you, Tommy?
Hey, how's it going?
Not so bad. I'm actually just cruising through spaces to see where the interesting discussions are happening. What you guys talking about in here?
Wait. You see the topic.
So I wanted to add to that really quick because what is the point in being famous and rich if you can be canceled and all that can be taken away from you? So if you are more feminine as a man in this day and age, then you're more likely to be protected. So you can get away with a lot more.
Not protected by God, though, just
I
protected
would
by
I
them.
would say
Well,
it's an
yeah,
illusion.
you're protected by the establishment. You're less
Yeah, but
cancelable.
who cares about the establishment when
A
you're
It's an
Okay,
lot
just
hold
of
on.
illusion.
men,
Y'all
a
gotta
lot
do
of
me a
these
huge favor. First
feminine
off, hold on.
men care
Sassy,
about it.
hold on. If y'all could all do me a huge favor. Sassy girl, do not bring them up here if A, they don't follow me, and B, they sucking film. If
Okay.
they're doing that, because they're not up here to have a discussion. They're actually up here to get people to see that they're up here because it's a large audience, and so they can follow them. And that goes right back to the weakness of men and the strength of these women, because they don't have to do any kind of work, and they just use you to move around. So if you come up here on this panel, if you do not put your hands up in order for you to talk, I will drop you. For this woman to come up here and say, I just cruise around to see the interesting things and just see what y'all talking about. You.
A
If you're
woman,
up here, you
Mr.
should want
Tommy?
to speak.
No,
Huh?
that wasn't a woman. Is it that boy that
I,
sounds like a woman?
no, I don't think that was him because he follows me. That was a chick. That was an actual chick.
Uh-oh.
That person doesn't follow.
That was Robin. That was the boy.
See,
It
you
Or
got
was.
fooled,
Popo
Tommy.
boy. Yeah.
So wait a minute. He stopped following me.
Now
I
he's
didn't look and
changed
see
his
who was
name.
following me. He didn't follow me. Once he stopped following me, he need to go on about his business. You don't follow me, he ain't coming up here. How about that? That's a rule. That's a simple thing you can do is follow me. So therefore I know who you are. I don't know who you are, but I feel like I'm at least getting a damn follower out of it since you're gonna come up here and try to use me. Let's use each other. Matter of fact, hit that Cash App. TJSOTOMAYOR. Now y'all can go back, ladies.
Oh, I was going to say on that idea of protection is an illusion. So much like how women have a network of friends, it's a very fragile ecosystem where one bad move essentially gets you exiled from the group. And man doesn't operate like that. Man operates within freedom. And this is the importance of having man skills. You can't cancel an electrician. You can't cancel a plumber. You can't cancel a warrior. There's certain things in the realm of men you can't cancel. And so a lot of
Shit.
these guys.
I gotta
Well, in
stop you there.
Hollywood
They are
Go
show
ahead.
they
business,
count they
apparently he
canceled a
can't
cake
cancel a
maker.
feminine male.
Well, hold on. They canceled a cake maker. They make cakes, and the cakes are good.
I would argue one thing, Tommy. Cakes are not essential to survival.
No, but if they can't cancel all electricians, but they can cancel one.
True.
That's what I
Canada,
mean.
how many truckers did Canada cancel?
Salty. We're not against you. Hold
bro.
on. Let
First of
Zherka
all,
say it. We're not against you.
Tommy, this guy doesn't make a dime online. He's got a minimum wage job, and he's totally risking your platform.
No, I'm not. I work e-commerce. I make good money.
Yeah, that's the point, retard. You're
You know what, Zherka?
sacrificing Tommy's
You
platform.
actually
You
don't even
fucking.
know me. I've been on YouTube before on bigger channels than you've ever been on. They're just part of the
Who are you? Who are
search
you?
up Anazala family on YouTube. You can see me in videos.
I've never.
Just
So
search it.
hold
Just
on.
type it up. Just type it up, and
What's the game plan?
there is
What's
no
the game
game
plan
plan.
to
I'm
this?
not. They do different entertainment, like family type
I
content.
know,
I'm
but
not.
what's the point of you? What's the point of you saying that on his platform to get him in
How
trouble?
was that getting him in trouble? I was gonna explain
He just read you the rules, you stupid.
the rules. I didn't see him. Calm down, bro.
He said, "Don't J-bomb the show."
All right, let me be more specific then, because there's good news, there's bad.
In less. You
You
mean
don't want
less
to be
of the
more
show.
specific.
What do you?
No. You rephrase it. There's good, there's bad
Yeah.
news. It's really Zionism that's the problem.
Yikes!
What you
You're
mean,
still
yikes?
doing it. We know. Hold on. Here's what we need to do. Men can handle their own issues. If men would stand up and handle their own issues. Here's how I feel. We could blame women and talk about what women do. But women could not be able to perform any of these tasks if men got together. They couldn't do it.
Yeah,
They need us. So even if you say this very small group has that power, which they do,
bro. You know
but there's
what's
a
sad?
larger group of people like us who need to be doing what we're supposed to do.
Tommy, you know what's the
Well, yeah,
funniest
men
part?
gave women the
But
right
they're
to
doing
vote,
such a
so there
good
you have
job
it.
at it.
Yeah, whoever gave women the right to vote literally needs to be locked up in jail for 1,000 years.
Right. That's where it started. We need to repeal